Chosen one. You've felt it, haven't you? That invisible weight pressing against your spirit. The air thick with something unseen. Every door that shut. Every plan that collapsed. Every night your mind replayed the same scene. None of it was random. Heaven has been speaking through the warfare, not against you, but for you. Every tremor in your life has carried a hidden message, and tonight, heaven reveals it. The pressure in your chest, the pulse behind your eyes, the way silence suddenly feels loud. These are not signs of defeat. They are the vibration of a message sent from eternity, a signal you were meant to hear. When heaven prepares to elevate you, reality begins to bend. People leave without reason. Timing fails. Energy shifts. And you, standing in the center of it all, think something went wrong. But no. Heaven is recalibrating everything around your purpose. You felt the friction, the conversation that turned cold for no reason, the sudden exhaustion that comes right after revelation, the doors that close when your faith finally rises. That's not failure, it's frequency. The universe is echoing your new identity, and darkness is reacting to the light it just detected. Job once stood in the same frequency. He lost everything not because he was forsaken, but because he had been noticed by heaven. The permission of pain became the prophecy of restoration. And now heaven is whispering the same truth to you. You are not being punished, you are being tuned. Every chosen vessel vibrates before it shines. Every instrument must be struck before it can sing. The noise in your life is simply the sound of heaven playing your name. At the end of this message, I will reveal what heaven calls the signal of opposition, the code hidden inside every storm. When you understand it, warfare will never frighten you again. If something in your spirit already recognizes this truth, type in the comments, "I receive the signal." That simple act of faith tells heaven, I'm listening. Because the storm wasn't meant to drown you. It was meant to tune you. Chosen one, you didn't start this war, but heaven chose you to finish it. Since the moment your soul began to awaken, something unseen has been trying to pull you back into silence. You felt it. The strange resistance that appears whenever peace finally finds you. You speak truth and suddenly conflict rises. You take one brave step and the ground trembles beneath it. This isn't coincidence. It's recognition. Every time your light expands, darkness adjusts its aim. Every time you step into purpose, the old patterns panic, because your obedience has started to rewrite the atmosphere. Think of those nights when prayer felt impossible, when your words seemed to fall to the floor, unanswered, unheard. You weren't praying wrong, you were praying through interference. The static that surrounds revelation is proof that something holy is transmitting. The apostle wrote it plainly. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities. That's not poetry. It's physics of the spirit. Every intention, every word you release, sends ripples through dimensions. And those ripples disturb whatever profits from your confusion. You are a disturbance to the kingdom of darkness. That's why peace often precedes attack, because heaven's signal has just been detected. When revelation enters your heart, the enemy recognizes new authority and rushes to oppose it. But remember this, opposition is evidence. It means your identity has become visible in the unseen realm. The war around you isn't about punishment, it's about position. Heaven marked you, and that mark drew attention. You ask, why now? Why again? Because every promotion in heaven provokes a reaction on earth. When your name is called in the spirit, the battlefield forms in the natural. Think of it like this. A lighthouse doesn't fear the darkness. It doesn't question why storms gather around its coast. The light itself is what summons the opposition, not because the light is wrong, but because it's necessary. You are that lighthouse. The attacks you've endured aren't proof that you're off course. They're confirmation that you're positioned exactly where heaven needs you. Look at the pattern in Scripture. Moses faced resistance the moment he accepted his calling. Pharaoh's heart hardened. David was anointed king but spent years running from Saul. Joseph received dreams of greatness, then was thrown into a pit. Paul encountered shipwrecks, beatings, and imprisonment after his Damascus Road encounter. Notice, the warfare intensified after the calling was confirmed, not before. This is the prophetic pattern. Heaven doesn't anoint you and then leave you uncontested. It anoints you, then permits the test that proves the anointing is real. Don't interpret resistance as rejection, interpret it as recognition. When peace feels temporary, when progress feels delayed, heaven isn't withholding, it's strengthening. It's proving that your endurance can carry revelation. Every chosen soul must face the echo of its own calling. You can't speak about light without meeting darkness face to face. But the darkness you face now is proof that the light within you is awake. So breathe, warrior of light. You are not losing ground. You are shifting atmospheres. The battle found you because you became the battlefield's answer. Heaven is saying, you are not fighting alone. You are fulfilling prophecy. And the moment you stop fearing the war, you'll begin to hear the message hidden inside it. Because the fight itself is a frequency, and it's about to reveal the signal behind every storm. Chosen one, every storm carries a sound. Every shaking has its own frequency. And if you could step outside your fear for just a moment, you'd hear it too. That vibration under your skin when you're about to make a breakthrough. The strange fatigue that hits right after prayer. The repeated patterns that seem to follow you like echoes. These are not coincidences. They are signals. Heaven communicates in patterns, and what feels like chaos in the natural is often perfect structure in the spirit. Every delay has rhythm. Every betrayal has timing. Every disappointment has data encoded within it. It's heaven's Morse code for the awakened soul. You've seen it. The same type of rejection, the same lesson in a new disguise, the same emotion rising in a different face. This is how heaven teaches pattern recognition to prophets. When a cycle repeats, it's not punishment, it's calibration. Heaven will replay a lesson until your response aligns with divine intelligence. Once you react from peace instead of panic, the pattern dissolves. The storm's purpose isn't to break you, but to tune you. It's how the orchestra of heaven adjusts your key. Think of it like radio interference. The static you hear isn't silence, it's oversaturation. Heaven's frequency is trying to break through the noise of your reasoning. Every "why me" becomes "now I understand." Every tear becomes translation, and the moment you stop reacting, you start decoding. There are 3 primary ways heaven signals breakthrough is near. 1. The frequency of disruption. When stable things suddenly become unstable, relationships shift, jobs end, routines break. This isn't chaos, it's heaven clearing the frequency for a new transmission. 2. The frequency of repetition. When the same spiritual lesson appears in different situations, the same fear, the same test, the same choice point, heaven repeats until you master the lesson, not just survive it. 3. The frequency of precision. When specific numbers, words, or synchronicities appear repeatedly. 111, 222, 333. Feathers, songs, names. These aren't superstition. They're heaven's way of saying, I'm here. Pay attention. Romans 8 reminds us, all things work together for good. Not just the blessings, not just the peace, all things, even the warfare. So next time resistance rises, pause. Ask not, why is this happening? Ask, what is heaven saying through this pattern? The repeating opposition isn't there to discourage you. It's heaven announcing, you're near alignment, keep listening. Here's something practical. When warfare hits, immediately ask these 3 questions. What area of my life is under attack? Your voice, your peace, your relationships, your finances? That area reveals your next assignment. What was I doing or believing right before this started? Often, attack follows obedience. The thing you did right before the storm is likely what the enemy wants you to abandon. What would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? That answer is usually what heaven is calling you toward. This is the frequency of divine communication. The stronger the interference, the closer the revelation. So listen beyond the noise, chosen one. Because what sounds like chaos to your mind is a melody to your spirit. Every signal carries intention. Every pattern carries instruction. You're not being tormented, you're being taught. And once you learn heaven's dialect, you'll stop fearing the storms. You'll start reading them. Because every signal carries a hidden code. And that code is where heaven hides confirmation inside contradiction. Chosen one. Heaven hides its greatest confirmations inside the moments that feel most confusing. Every contradiction you face is a message written in reverse. When everything you believed begins to crumble, it's not destruction, it's translation. Heaven speaks in paradox because truth is too heavy for the mind all at once. So it disguises clarity inside contradiction. Think back on your life. Every time you lost something vital, something else, quiet and invisible, awakened inside you. A strength, a discernment, a deeper compassion for others who bleed the way you did. That's the code. Every loss carried light. Every wound carried wisdom. Every opposition hid opportunity. When the people you trusted suddenly turned cold, it wasn't betrayal alone. It was divine redirection. Heaven knew their presence would limit your next dimension. So the removal was coded inside the rejection. You weren't abandoned. You were extracted. This is how heaven prunes destiny. It subtracts what cannot survive your next level of purpose. The moment everything that supported you starts resisting you, heaven is saying, you've outgrown this season. The code of opposition means this. Contradiction confirms transformation. Remember Joseph? Sold by brothers, imprisoned by lies, yet every injustice moved him closer to the palace. But here's what we often miss. Joseph didn't just survive those years. He decoded them. In prison, he interpreted dreams. He learned the language of revelation while surrounded by darkness. The pit prepared him for the prison. The prison prepared him for the palace. Genesis 50, verse 20. What was meant for evil, God turned for good. The code was hidden inside the cruelty. When Potiphar's wife falsely accused him, Joseph didn't become bitter, he became better. He developed integrity that would later make Pharaoh trust him with a nation. When his brothers abandoned him, he didn't develop hatred, he developed vision. He saw that their betrayal was actually repositioning for deliverance. This is the code. Every attack is actually advanced placement. When everything around you collapses, don't curse it, decode it. Ask, what truth is heaven protecting beneath this pain? Heaven hides confirmation where human logic stops, because faith is the only key that can read divine code. Here's how to crack the code in your own life. If the attack is on your voice and your calling is to speak, heaven is testing whether you'll go silent or amplify truth. If the pressure is on your peace, your gift is to heal. You're being trained to carry calm into chaos. If your mind is the battlefield, your wisdom is about to deliver others. Every lie you dismantle in your own thoughts prepares you to free someone else. If your finances are under siege, your next assignment involves provision. Heaven is teaching you to trust Him as source, not just resource. If relationships keep breaking, you're being prepared for divine connections. Heaven is removing good to make room for best. The opposition mirrors the anointing. The size of your warfare reveals the scope of your assignment. When you face sudden warfare after obedience, heaven isn't punishing you for moving. It's testing whether you can hold the new frequency without breaking. This is why the warfare came. It's not your failure, it's your final exam. Heaven only allows what can strengthen what's already inside you. So every resistance is permissioned strength training. This is the divine reversal, the holy irony of spiritual warfare. Every "know you here" is heaven's disguised "now." Every delay hides divine acceleration. Every closed door forces you toward the open one you were too afraid to walk through. Every person who left made space for the ones who will stay. Every breakdown preceded a breakthrough. Chosen one, the battlefield is not proof of abandonment. It's proof of attention. Heaven is watching how you translate pain into prophecy, how you convert wounds into wisdom, how you transform resistance into resilience. So instead of asking heaven to end the opposition, ask heaven to reveal the code within it. Ask, "What is this preparing me for?" And then watch how quickly the answer emerges. Because once you can read the code, you'll see what comes next. The silence before the shift. The sacred stillness where heaven realigns everything you've decoded. Chosen one, after the thunder fades, there is always a silence. But don't mistake heaven's silence for heaven's absence. This quiet you're in, it's sacred. It's the pause between instruction and manifestation. The space between breath and creation. You prayed with fire. You spoke faith with trembling lips. And now, nothing. But listen closely. Nothing is not nothing. It's the sound of heaven holding its breath before the next command. Every prophet knows this moment. The silence after obedience. The strange stillness that makes you question if you heard right. Elijah felt it after the earthquake and fire, the still, small voice that followed. He learned that God's volume doesn't measure his presence. Sometimes, the whisper carries more power than the wind. You've been living in that whisper. Moses experienced 40 years of silence in the desert before the burning bush. Abraham waited 25 years between promise and Isaac. Joseph spent years in silence between dream and fulfillment. When heaven hides you, it's because visibility would break you too soon. This silence is a shield, not a punishment. You ask, why is it so quiet now? Because heaven has moved from speaking to shaping. It's forming your next reality in the unseen. The silence is the sound of construction. Think of the seed buried in the earth. The world above thinks it's dead, but beneath the surface, roots are splitting stone. That's you right now. You're not stuck, you're sprouting. In this sacred stillness, you're being recalibrated. Heaven is tuning your spirit to a new pitch. You've been hearing echoes of the old world, but now heaven is teaching you to hear its language directly. Here's what's happening in the silence. 1. Heaven is removing your dependence on external validation. When the crowd goes quiet, you learn to hear the still, small voice. When prophetic words stop coming, you learn to trust your own discernment. 2. Heaven is maturing your faith from transactional to relational. You're learning to love God for who He is, not just what He does. You're discovering that His presence is the miracle, not just His provision. 3. Heaven is repositioning you while no one is watching. The most significant movements happen in secret. The caterpillar becomes a butterfly in the darkness of the cocoon, not in the spotlight of the meadow. 4. Heaven is protecting you from premature exposure. If your calling was revealed too soon, pride would poison it. If breakthrough came before character was ready, success would destroy you. Silence is not the absence of movement, it's the rhythm of maturity. This is the classroom of trust, and its lessons can't be learned in noise. Faith isn't proven in miracles, it's proven in waiting. In continuing to worship when heaven feels bronze, in declaring promises when circumstances mock them, in standing on the word when every voice around you says to sit down. Be still and know. Not see, not touch, just know. Because when the soul finally stops begging for signs, heaven begins to reveal substance. The quiet is heaven's way of saying, you've heard enough. Now become what you've heard. This is where most people quit. They mistake silence for rejection. They interpret the pause as abandonment. They run back to Egypt because the wilderness feels too empty. But you, chosen one, you're different. You've learned that silence is sacred geography, that stillness is strategy, that the pause is part of the process. Here's how to navigate this season. Don't fill the silence with noise. Resist the urge to force doors open, to manufacture opportunities, to chase after what left. Rest in the pause. Let heaven work while you wait. Journal what you're learning. The silence is teaching you things you'll need later. Write down the revelations, the shifts in perspective, the small victories no one else sees. Protect your peace fiercely. This is not the season to explain yourself, to defend your journey, to convince skeptics. Guard the quiet. It's holy ground. Worship anyway, even when you don't feel it. even when it seems pointless. Worship is the language of trust, and trust is what unlocks the next dimension. Chosen one. This stillness is your cocoon. It's dark, it's small, it's sacred, and though you can't see wings yet, transformation is already happening. Hold your peace, even when it feels pointless, because the silence that terrifies you today will become the sanctuary you guard tomorrow. And soon, so soon you'll hear it, a sound rising within the quiet, the first note of heaven's counterattack. Chosen one, the silence is ending, heaven is moving, and this time, it's not subtle. The counterattack has begun. You've been so focused on what came against you that you didn't see what's been rising inside you. Heaven's response to your warfare isn't more war, it's awakening. Peace is heaven's sword. Stillness is its strategy. And right now, both are turning toward your enemies. One morning soon, you'll wake up and realize something's shifted. The heaviness that sat on your chest is gone. The sadness that shadowed your steps has lifted. The air will feel lighter, as if heaven itself exhaled through your lungs. You'll notice it in details, in laughter returning to your voice, in thoughts that once spiraled now standing still, in doors opening without you knocking. That's heaven's counterattack. Effortless reversal, not by might, not by force, but by alignment. Isaiah said it best, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." It doesn't mean the weapon won't appear, it means the weapon will misfire. Every arrow sent to destroy you is returning with revelation attached. Every curse is becoming confirmation. Every delay is reversing into divine timing. You've become immune to despair because you've learned its dialect. You can recognize when lies try to disguise themselves as thoughts, and in that recognition, you disarm them. Heaven's counterattack is awareness. When you stop fighting shadows and start translating them, the battle loses its power. And suddenly, peace floods in like a tide. Unexplainable, unreasonable, undeniable. That peace is your proof of victory. It's the divine reversal. The moment when you realize you no longer have to prove anything, because your existence has already proven it. Heaven is orchestrating reversals now. In relationships, people who mocked you will witness your restoration. Those who doubted will see the fruit, not because you need their validation, but because heaven vindicates in public what was attacked in private. In opportunities, paths that closed will realign. Doors you stopped knocking on will swing open of their own accord. Opportunities will find you without striving. In finances, what was stolen will be restored with interest. Provision will come from unexpected sources. You'll look back and realize heaven was arranging everything even when it looked like nothing. In purpose, clarity will replace confusion. The calling you questioned will become undeniable. The gifts you buried will demand expression. In identity, the version of you that tolerated mistreatment, that accepted crumbs, that apologized for existing, that version is dying. And rising in its place is someone who knows their worth because heaven declared it. When you declare, "I still believe," you release a sound that reverberates through dimensions. That frequency dismantles despair and announces dominion. Say it again, softly but surely. I'm not under attack. I'm under activation. Because what came to destroy you has only uncovered your design. And the more you stand in peace, the louder heaven speaks through your life. This is the turning point, chosen one. The atmosphere around you is recalibrating to your authority. The people who will be part of your next chapter are being positioned. The resources you'll need are being released. The favor that seemed impossible is becoming inevitable. Not because you earned it, but because heaven decreed it. Here's the secret weapon heaven has been forming in you. Unshakable peace. The world fights with force. Heaven fights with rest. While your enemies exhaust themselves strategizing against you, you're learning to stand still and watch heaven work. That peace is more powerful than any retaliation. That rest is more terrifying to darkness than any warfare prayer, because it signals that you know something they don't. The battle is already won. The signal that once terrified you is about to transform into instruction. The frequency that shook you is now the frequency you carry. And now, the message that began as chaos is ready to reveal its meaning. Chosen one, it's time. The mystery heaven has been unfolding through your warfare is ready to be spoken. The signal you've been feeling, that pulse of resistance, that ache in the unseen, was never the enemy's victory. It was heaven's verification. The signal of opposition means this: heaven confirms readiness through resistance. The moment pressure increases, it's because heaven is expanding your capacity. You thought the storm came to break you, but the storm came to broadcast you. Every time your name was whispered in gossip, heaven was amplifying your frequency. Every time something ended, heaven was making space for something eternal. The signal comes when you are crossing thresholds. It's heaven's alarm system for awakening souls. It means attention, divine alignment in progress. You are not being attacked, you are being announced. And the warfare you felt was simply creation responding to your awakening. Every chosen one passes through this initiation. Because power without discernment destroys, heaven needed you to feel the pattern before you could carry the message. Now you see it. The repetition wasn't a curse, it was rehearsal. Heaven was training your spiritual hearing, teaching you to recognize its vibration even in chaos. Every moment you didn't give up, the signal grew stronger inside you. Every tear watered the frequency until it became unbreakable. And now, you've become the receiver. You no longer need signs or external proof. Your spirit has become the antenna of heaven. James wrote, "Count it all joy when you face trials of many kinds, for testing produces endurance." That's what you've gained. Endurance that translates pain into power. You no longer ask, "Why me?" You ask, "What is heaven doing through me?" Chosen one, this is the revelation. The signal was never outside. It's been rising inside your own heartbeat all along. It was heaven's rhythm syncing with your purpose. Now you're not just hearing the signal, you're emitting it. Every word you speak carries vibration. Every prayer shifts atmospheres. Every act of faith sends frequencies through eternity. The interference that once broke you now bows to you, because you've learned heaven's dialect, and the universe responds to that language. What you've become. You've been tuned by tears, refined by silence, awakened by resistance. Now you walk not as one under warfare, but as one who carries revelation. And soon, heaven will send you into places that need this exact message. Because you've lived the code, you've felt the sound, and you've become the signal. You'll recognize them, the ones who are where you were, the ones under attack, the ones questioning if they heard heaven right, the ones ready to quit, and your presence alone will steady them. Your testimony will decode their confusion. Your peace will prove that heaven keeps its promises. This is why you survived, not just to be healed, but to become the healing, not just to overcome, but to show others the way over. The signal was never about you alone. It was about everyone heaven will reach through you. Now, let's bring it home. Let heaven speak its final word through you. Chosen one, you've walked through the storm, stood still in silence, and witnessed heaven's counterattack rise from within you. Now hear the truth that changes everything. The warfare you survived was the prophecy of your arrival. The pain was heaven's handwriting on your timeline. The signal of opposition wasn't warning, it was invitation. Every vibration of resistance was heaven calling your spirit to wake up. Because destiny doesn't whisper, it shakes. You came into this message feeling weary, but you leave knowing that weariness was a womb. Heaven has been birthing identity through your exhaustion. What felt like endings were actually calibrations. What looked like isolation was incubation. And what you called loss was simply light rearranging your story. You are no longer the same soul who began this journey. You have crossed through fire and silence and emerged fluent in heaven's frequency. Every battle that tried to silence you has now become the amplifier heaven will use to speak through you. You are the living proof that resistance refines revelation. Look at yourself now. You no longer fear silence. You've learned it's sacred. You no longer panic at opposition. You decode it. You no longer question your worth. Heaven already declared it. You no longer need permission. You carry authority. So lift your head. The signal is clear. You've been recoded for divine authority. Your steps now carry data from heaven. Your words now create shifts in the unseen. Your presence announces victory before you even speak, because the one who was under attack is now heaven's transmitter. Your pain has become prophecy, your endurance has become evidence, and your frequency has become fire. This is the final message heaven releases. You were never being destroyed. You were being declared. Every wound has translated into wisdom. Every storm now serves as witness. Every silence has become sacred sound. Every delay has unfolded into divine timing. Your words carry the rhythm of heaven. Your life has become the signal that others recognize. You are not the echo. You are the origin. Now receive this prayer as seal and sending. Let every wound translate into wisdom. Let every storm serve as witness. Let every silence become sacred sound. Let every delay unfold into divine timing. Let every shadow reveal the hidden light. Let your words carry the rhythm of heaven. Let your life become the signal that others recognize. Let your presence shift atmospheres before you speak. Let your peace become the weapon that dismantles warfare. You are not surviving anymore. You are transmitting. You are not healing anymore. You are the healing. You are not seeking the signal. You are the signal. Amen. Now, take this truth and walk differently. The atmosphere knows your name. You are not surviving anymore. You are transmitting. Everywhere you go, the frequency of heaven follows. You were never the echo. You were always the origin. And from this day forward, the world will hear it. If your spirit bears witness, type, "I receive the signal." That is your declaration, your agreement with heaven's broadcast. And share this message with the one who's been questioning why they're under attack. Because now you know, it's not warfare. It's the signal of opposition, and it means heaven just announced them too. Amplify the frequency. Heaven is listening. The warfare was never the end of your story. It was the beginning of your testimony. Now go. Carry the signal, decode the storms for others, because the chosen one who survives becomes the one who saves, and heaven is already preparing the ones you'll deliver.